Hey, how's it hanging? Welcome to a review of Deep Purple's Turning to Crime. Now, this is a follow up this year, shortly after last year's Whoosh. And um, I had recorded a review of this last year. It was like, peak pandemic, and Saturday afternoon, and I was all sort of like gassed up. But I messed up with the camera and it turned out like garbage. So I haven't gotten around to doing it because once you ramble on about something once, I don't know about you, but I like to find something else to ramble on about. And so maybe I will have to get around to re-recording it again sometime, but we'll see when. Anyway, high level, this was a fun album, and the thing that jumped out at me most about it was the production, the love and respect that Bob Ezrin has for the band really came through on this, and it shows. I mean, it's just lovingly produced. It's a great record. Anyway, fast forward to this year, and so after that Whoosh album, their tour had to be canceled, of course, and these are musicians, and they were sitting around with, I'm sure they had things to do, but musically together they weren't working, so they decided to do this album remotely, and it's just a bunch of cover songs, and it's amazing the reaction it has gotten from some people. I find the reviews that I've read on sites and from people who aren't necessarily metalheads really like the record, but for people who maybe listen to hard rock and metal almost exclusively, they don't care for it so much. I like it a lot. Purple are one of a handful of heavy bands that I listen to. I don't listen to a lot of it because I find a lot of it, just sounds dumb, and there's not a lot of humor. So that's not to say it's not accomplished and there aren't chops, and it's all personal taste. I just don't like it. It doesn't resonate. So to this album, I ordered the double, the clear vinyl set, and so that arrived. And I also ordered the documentary Blu-ray of it, the making of it, and that was like a limited edition, and this is like 797 out of 1,000. I mean, it's kind of a shitty number if you were collecting this sort of thing, but I really don't know what sort of market there will be in the coming years for collectible DVD or Blu-ray. I mean, who knows? Maybe it'll turn out like vinyl. I don't judge, but if I had to guess, this isn't going to be highly collectible. You never know. Anyway, this is really fun. It's about 40 minutes, and it has interviews with the band and Bob Ezrin all about the making of it. I enjoyed it quite a bit. There was one weird shot of their manager, though, that's just kind of like, I don't know what the point of it was, but it was just him like clicking around randomly on a computer screen while Roger Glover's voice is on the phone. That was kind of weird, but the rest of it's really fun. Yep. So on to the album. And I'm hoping, I don't have I usually have my iPad mirroring the camera, but that's not happening today, so let's hope this turns out, because I can't see what's going on. Now, okay, so the cover, you have this sort of turning to crime theme happening. Front, back, lots of redacted stuff. Texture print, which is kind of nice. Luxurious. And on the inside, you have this pretty humorous shot of them with their mug shots of the band. And, personally, I think the funniest thing is to have Ian Pace approaching 6 feet tall. That's pretty good. Anyway, so let's get on to the music. As I said before, if you listen to metal exclusively, or if you listen to hard rock exclusively, and that's your thing, check it out, but chances are you won't like this. I'm a bit more, personally, I listen to like a lot of folk and a lot of folk rock, and a little bit of prog. FYI, if you're in the market for finding some good prog, I really like there's a band called Caravan, and they have 3 or 4 really good albums from the early 70s that are humorous, they're whimsical, they're well played, and you get to avoid a lot of that pretentiousness that comes sometimes with prog. Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about. I do have to say, before we go any further, I also did buy, at the beginning of December, a local, craft beer sort of advent box. And today's the 24th, the last day. And so I've been chilling this Bûche de Noel. At first I thought that meant Santa's fist, but I had to look it up. And it's a Yule log. And it's 10% strong beer, imperial milk stout. And okay, so every year the province of Nova Scotia presents the city of Boston with its official Christmas tree. This tree is a thank you to the people of Boston for its quick aid after the devastating Halifax explosion on December 6th, 1917. To honor this tradition and the deep bond between the two regions, we brewed this Bûche de Noel Imperial Stout with the help of Harpoon Brewery, with vanilla, cinnamon, juniper, and a touch of spruce tips, along with conditioning in Glen Breton single malt whiskey barrels from Cape Breton Island. It's both layered and complex, with notes of espresso and dark chocolate, and a lingering warmth from the whiskey. Cheers to Harpoon and all of our friends to the south. Agreed. And I'm looking forward to cracking this open. Big Spruce is one of my favorite breweries, period. So I'm going to crack this open. So today's review will be fueled partly by this. Straight from the can. Nice. Okay, so 7 and 7 this is a great song by the band called Love. I have one of their albums, but it's not the one with this on it. I think it's a subsequent album. Really good stuff. 60s kind of garage, psychedelic stuff. And this song, I love this version of it. It cooks. It just really cooks. Rockin' Pneumonia and the Boogie Woogie Flu. Again, this is great. It's, like a sort of a late 50s, early 60s kind of boogie woogie song, and the performances on it are great. Don Airey in particular is all over this album. Oh Well, of course, a classic Fleetwood Mac song, and it's really, really good. I like the song anyway, but I really like what Steve Morse has done. He's done this wonderful sort of dramatic, proggy type of guitar thing in the middle, which really takes a song to another level. It's really fun. Jenny, Take a Ride. So this song and I gotta say the Battle of New Orleans are, I enjoy them, but they're my least favorite on the album. I think personally before I get to this, another thing that jumps out at me about the album is Ian Gillan's singing. It's just phenomenal. For a singer of his vintage, his voice still is rich. And there's a lot of control, which is not something that is typical for singers of his age. You hear other singers from that era, and they're sounding like old men, feeble old men. He does not sound like that. It's a great voice. Anyway, Jenny, Take a Ride. This is the one song, I don't know if it's the tempo, the beginning, and the main verse. I don't know if it's the tempo or the key, but it's the one spot where he doesn't sound fully engaged in the singing. He sounds kind of tired to me there. In the fast part, it really picks up. But there's the verses there. It's just, that's the one weak point for and it still sounds great, but that's sort of the weak point for the vocals on the album for me. It's a good song, but it's not my favorite. Watching the River Flow, that's really fun. I was unawares of it. It's a Bob Dylan song, and it's great. And Don Airey does this piano thing at the end, which is really fun. And that's what I like about this band. Just their chops, basically. They're all just simply fantastic. I mean, Steve Morse is good. Like, he could play anything. And Don Airey as well. I like sort of the fluidity of Steve Morse's guitar with Don Airey's keyboards and all of their stuff. Because, I mean, Don just brings the fun for me. And that's what keeps these albums, all of them, the Don Airey, Steve Morse stuff, fun, is in particular Don Airey's work. Love it. Great cover. Let the Good Times Roll, that's fun. The old Ray Charles song. And yeah, I mean, I could see it. People who are looking for, you know, crotch rock or you know, that sort of thumping metal won't dig it. If you like this sort of blues jazz stuff outside of Deep Purple, well, then you'll certainly like Deep Purple covering it. And a little more about this. I don't mean to keep going back to these different fan types, but it really does depend on what you like. I've been watching a couple of reviews, and there were, like, one had a couple of guys just listening to the song, and they'd randomly say, well, I'll give that a 2, or I'll give that a 3.5. It's just this, like, nonsense type review. That was one. And then another review had a couple of, you know, prog metalhead kind of guys trying to what they would have the band cover if they were to do another covers album. And they just picked, and for their taste, that's great, and for that particular niche, that's great. But to me, they picked the absolute, like, shittiest fucking songs I'd ever want to hear Purple play. Like, just terrible, like, White Snake and oh God, Kansas and stuff like that. But, you know, that's fine and dandy, but, like, that's not Purple. It's not the Purple I look for in any case. Anyway, so this is all opinion. Dixie Chicken, another great song. Oh yeah, it's just got that. You know, if I were to have Purple, if I were to pick songs that Purple would cover, I'd love to have them dig down into that southern rock more. I'd love to have them, like, it'd be great to hear them, I think, to hear them do some Meters and Alan Tucson. But, I mean, the reason these were all great performances is because, like, this is the stuff that turns them on. So you can't just pick out songs and say, oh, I'd love to hear them play song X, because if it doesn't mean anything to them, it's not going to be genuine. And that's, you know, what this is all about. This is just one of the last great rock and roll bands of the rock and roll era having fun. Shapes of Things, I mean, that's a really good version. I like it a lot. Yeah, but play that frequently. The Battle of New Orleans. So I got to, going back to Jenny Take a Ride, this is another one. It's fun, but it's not one that I play regularly. Yeah, that's all I can say about that. Lucifer, this is one of the best picks on the album, I think. I think Steve Morse picked that one out, and it's great. And Bob Seger, I'd never heard it before. I was never, admittedly, a big fan of Bob Seger. His hits did not resonate with my taste. But this song really does. It sounds like, yeah, really, really fun. White Room, yeah, I mean, we've all heard it a million times, but you haven't heard it done by Purple, and, you know, it's a good song, so why not hear a good band do it? And Caught in the Act, this is really fun. It's just this medley of stuff, and my favorite bit in it, I think Don Airey, I saw in an interview, Don Airey sort of put the songs together in the medley. I'm not sure. But anyway, they ended up with the last two songs are Dazed and Confused and what the hell's it called? Give Me Some Lovin'? Give Me Some Love. And just the transition between the two is really, really fun and clever. So there you have it. If you're looking for a fun rock and roll album that's performed by Deep Purple, check it out. If you're looking for a Deep Purple album, studio album, as you traditionally hear them, then this isn't it. But if you want to hear them just having fun, this is the record. So, rock on.